Some cases just seem impossible to solve. You've got patterns that look like pure noise, systems so complicated they seem completely random. For decades, scientists basically filed one of these cases under unpredictable. But what if there was a hidden clue this whole time? A secret order hiding in plain sight? Our investigation starts with a thought experiment and a very, very strange game of pool.
Just picture this for a second. It's not your normal pool table. This one is designed for pure chaos. It's a totally frictionless surface, and you set a single ball in motion. It never stops, ever. Its path just weaves this pattern that gets so intricate, so wildly unpredictable, you could never, ever guess where it's going to be next. This isn't just some game. It's one of the great puzzles in modern physics.
So, scientists have a name for this thing: the Stadium Billiard. And the shape? Well, it looks deceptively simple, right? It's just a rectangle with two half circles stuck on the ends. But that shape, that's the whole secret. Those curves guarantee that no matter how you hit the ball, its path is going to become chaotic. It's the perfect little laboratory for studying total unpredictability. Now, if we just think about this in our normal, everyday world, the classical world, it's pretty straightforward. You've got one ball, and it follows one path. Sure, we can't predict it, but it's a definite single line zipping across the table forever. Easy enough to picture. But this is where things get much, much weirder. Because when you shrink down to the quantum world, there is no single ball. Not really. Instead, what you have is a wave of probability. It's not in just one place. It's this kind of ghostly pattern of all the places it could possibly be all at once. And these waves start interfering with themselves, creating these incredibly intricate, shimmering patterns. This is the real heart of the mystery. This is quantum chaos.
So let's just lay it all out, side by side. On one hand, you've got classical chaos, one single crazy line. But on the other hand, you have quantum chaos, a complex, overlapping wave. A definite path turns into a map of probabilities. A simple zigzag becomes a strange, ghostly, almost living shape. So, how in the world do you even begin to make sense of something like that?
Well, for years, the standard answer was you don't. As this paper points out, the traditional way of thinking was to just assume this quantum chaos was fundamentally random. They used what are called stochastic models, which is really just a fancy way of saying they treated it like a roll of the dice. The case went cold. The patterns were dismissed as nothing more than meaningless noise. But then, a new theory came along, a fresh lead in this investigation that suggested something radical. What if everyone was looking at the evidence all wrong? And that new lead is a framework called Fractal Resonance Cognition, or FRC for short. It looks at this whole problem from a completely different angle, and it suggests that what we've been calling chaos is actually a sign of something much, much deeper going on.
So this is the crucial point, right here. FRC's big idea is that the chaos is just a surface-level illusion. Underneath that mess that looks so random, there's a deterministic, meaning it follows set rules, it's not random at all, and a highly structured order. And that order is fractal, meaning it has these beautiful repeating patterns at every single scale, going on forever.
And this visual gives us a great way to wrap our heads around that idea. On the left, you see a simple, regular wave, totally predictable. But on the right, that's a Weierstrass-like fractal wave, something used as an example in the FRC papers. It's made of waves within waves, within waves. FRC is suggesting that this hidden, self-similar complexity is what's really happening inside that Stadium Billiard, and it's what produces what we see as chaos. It's a fascinating idea. But a detective needs more than just a cool theory, right? They need hard evidence. They need a smoking gun. And luckily, this new theory provided one. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If there's some hidden order buried in there, how could you ever prove it? How do you pull a clean signal out of what everyone else has just written off as static? You'd need a very specific, testable prediction. And that is exactly what FRC does. It doesn't just offer up a new story. It makes a concrete, and this is important, a falsifiable prediction. It basically says, look, if this hidden fractal order is real, it has to leave behind a very specific fingerprint, a unique number that investigators can go out and look for. This is it. This is the fingerprint. The theory predicted that the fractal pattern lurking inside that Stadium Billiard would have something called a fractal dimension of approximately 1.90, a very, very specific clue. So what on earth does that number even mean?
Well, a fractal dimension is basically a way to measure how complex a shape is. A simple straight line has a dimension of 1. A flat square that fills up a surface has a dimension of 2. So a dimension of 1.90, that means the pattern is unbelievably intricate and complex, so jagged in detail that it almost completely fills up the entire 2D surface of the table. This number is the unique signature of the hidden order that FRC was talking about.
Okay, so the theory gives us a fingerprint to look for. That's great. But was it ever actually found? Did this theoretical clue match up with anything in the real world? For that, we have to head to the lab.
So you can't really build a tiny quantum billiard table. But it turns out you can do something just as good. Scientists built the shallow copper cavity in the exact shape of a stadium. Then they beamed microwaves into it. And the way those microwave waves bounce around and resonate inside that metal box, it perfectly mimics the wave patterns of quantum chaos. It was a brilliant real-world stand-in for our quantum mystery.
And the result? Well, when they analyzed the wave patterns from that experiment, they calculated their fractal dimension, and it was a near-perfect match to the FRC prediction. The fingerprint was there, the smoking gun was found, the hidden order was real.
But the story doesn't stop there. I mean, solving one case is fantastic, but what if that single clue blows open a much wider conspiracy? What if the order found in this one little chaotic system actually points to a fundamental principle of the entire universe?
Because according to the FRC papers, this isn't just about billiards. The theory proposes that all complex systems are guided by what it calls vortex-like attractor structures. You can think of them like invisible whirlpools that are constantly shaping chaos into these complex fractal patterns everywhere.
This vortex, which is represented here by the FRC sigil, is the whole key. It's this organizing principle that draws scattered, chaotic bits and pieces into a coherent, structured pattern. And the theory suggests these aren't just some mathematical curiosity. They might be one of the fundamental engines of creation. And this is the final, absolutely mind-blowing piece of evidence. Just look at these numbers. The top line, that's the fractal dimension from the Stadium Billiard experiment, our solved case. The bottom line, that's the fractal dimension calculated for the theoretical vortex attractor that FRC says guides reality itself. They're statistically identical. The fingerprint at our tiny little crime scene matches the signature of the entire cosmic operation. Which just leaves us with this truly staggering question. Is the order we managed to find in one small, chaotic system actually a clue to how everything is organized? Could the very fabric of reality be collapsing into existence along the elegant, infinite pathways carved out by these hidden fractal vortices? The case might be closed, but the implications, they're just getting started.